There are only three ways in which you can live your life. One, the life which is decided by people around you, stereotyped due to sympathy, religion, and all other angles that are attached with disability. Second, people would ignore you, and you can also choose to ignore your life and just live the way it is. And the third is to choose the terms on which you want to live your own life. Do what you want to do, fail if you have to, succeed if you have to, but don't go with regrets tomorrow that, oh, I could have done this or I should have done this. That regret shouldn't be there in your life. If you have decided for yourself as to how you want to live your life or what you want to do with your life, then you decide your way forward, you create your own path. I was born absolutely fine, if you ask me. There was no problem. It was just a premature delivery, 7.5 months. So I was very weak. So doctors put me into incubators for oxygen. And as a result, I got excess oxygen. So that generated a fume which then damaged my retina in about 4 months or so of my birth. And my parents were never told about this problem, that doctors have given excess oxygen, hence this has happened. Only when they took me into sunlight and somebody clapped and I was looking tilted, or wherever my face was, it was there. So then somebody thought that there is some problem in the eyes, we should get it immediately checked. The other problem was that the other retina, because I was also facing an issue due to a lot of glaucoma from my eyes. So one of the ways they treat this is to puncture the retina from where the glaucoma gets generated. Now, unfortunately, another thing that happened is one doctor made that instrument fell on my another retina, which he was to puncture, and that again they did not tell to my dad. So essentially, both my retinas were damaged. The atmosphere around that time was within the society that if you're born blind, then it's a pity, both for the family, for you. And the problem was that people related a lot to religious sentiments, that it's a past sin, etc., etc. So the atmosphere was not very conducive. People looked at you from a lens of sympathy. So I kind of started feeling socially excluded, because although I was a very good singer and all, so people, what they would do is, if I go anywhere with my family, they would hear 1 or 2 songs and then I am made to sit in a corner, and then nobody talks to me, nobody does anything. So I didn't like going to social circles and all in my initial childhood days. Slowly, when I grew up, around when I was in 8th or 9th class, etc., I told my dad that I want to do something different. I don't want to do the typical conventional fields that people with blindness follow. I want to do something new. So my dad told me one thing which still remains with me, that if you take 1 step, we'll take 10 steps for you. And he did it. He shut down his business. We moved to Bombay. I did my law for 5 years and continued my career then. So we explored a couple of career options, including hotel management, BBA, sales and marketing, law, and finally law was something which interested me, because then my outlook was that after doing law I can also contribute back to the community and society at large. When I was preparing for my law exams, unfortunately one of my close relatives within the family said that you're a burden on your family, you're a liability on your parents, you can't speak well English very fluently, so you'll fail in your first year, so why don't you take a drop and work on your Hindi or work on your English. And that demotivated me. And at the same time, one of the law colleges, a prominent one, denied me admission, saying that we don't have any policies for persons with disabilities and we can't give you an admission. So I filed a case before the Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities, not knowing what this is meant. quasi-judicial authority in Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act and the earlier 1995 Act. So that order came in my favor. I obviously did not take admission in that college, but kind of that boosted my morale. It was a legal crash course before even I took admission into a law college. Then I got into my dream city. Bombay was always my dream city. Government Law College, Mumbai. I looked at the curriculums of all the colleges and found this college to be the best, both in terms of the alumni it has and the curriculum it has, plus the flexibility of working with or interning with companies and firms and so on and so forth. At the same time, a lot of interesting things happened when I went to open my first bank account in my college. Initially, I was refused. So again, I wrote to the authorities and got my account opened. Then I wanted to open Demat and trading account. I was refused. All of these denials pushed me to work for a policy reform. So I worked with SEBI, worked with RBI, worked with many other stakeholders to get the right policies in place so that nobody else gets denied, just like I was. On the advocacy front, I have taken a couple of issues and gotten them successfully resolved. So, for example, inaccessibility of payment systems. When you make a transaction, when you pay, most of the payment systems are not accessible. So, RBI finally, pursuant to our litigation, issued a circular making mandatory for all payment systems to comply with accessibility standards. Similarly, making educational content accessible on government portals. Then I have recently done one on making 𝐸-KYC and digital KYC processes accessible. So KYC stands for Know Your Customer Norms. When you establish any kind of a relationship with a financial institution or otherwise want to avail, say, a telecom connection, or let's say you want to avail a government benefit or a scheme, you need to perform KYC formalities, which is Know Your Customer Norms. So the digital process of it has not been accessible for persons with disabilities, and I filed a case in the Supreme Court which is ongoing and the judgment is soon expected. Financial inclusion policy formulation is very core to my heart because I think a right policy and inclusive policy making can provide a dignified way of survival to persons with disabilities. So I have worked with players like RBI, SEBI, National Housing Bank for home loans. Then I've worked with Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, and many others. I have been at the forefront of either giving inputs for policy formulation or being involved in designing appropriate policy. Suffice it to say that for my work in the area of disability rights, I have been recently awarded with the National Award, which is the highest civilian honor that any person with disability gets in our country, from the President of India on the 3rd December last year, 2024 essentially. So there's one by National Center for Promotion of Employment of Persons with Disabilities and Emphasis Limited for my area in the work of public policy and advocacy. Then there is one by National Association for the Blind as a best role model. Then there is one which is by 𝐸𝐴 Foundation for Yuva Prerna Puraskar, and there are many more that have been awarded. Often what happens when anybody encounters a person with disability, their entire focus shifts to the disability and they forget that there's a person part to it as well. So always I say this to everybody that I interact with, that I am a person first and my disability comes later. Second, of course, we need to empower our community of persons with disabilities. As I was talking, that livelihood is very core to my heart. So unless somebody is empowered to be economically independent and make their own financial decisions, stand on their own feet, they will not be able to be seen as a contributor to the society. They will always be seen as a object of charity. So it's very important that whatever we do leads to generation of more livelihood opportunities for persons with disabilities.